Welcome into this week's edition of Talk Birdie to Me, folks. I'm Connor Roundtree, jacked up to be here. We have the American Express. It should be a fun one. 156 golfers in the field. 3 separate courses being played on. This is going to be chaotic. Let's jump into it. So, the American Express at PGA West in La Quinta, California. It's a loaded field. We have Scottie Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas teeing it up for the first time in 2024. Tom Kim's out there, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, and J-Day. So, yeah, lots of power in the field, if you can notice, and lots of talent. So we'll get into the field, but we're going to break down the courses first. And there'll be 3 courses used over the weekend, as I alluded to earlier. The Pete Dye Stadium course, which will also be played as the final round course. So the Sunday round will be played on Pete Dye, on the Pete Dye Stadium course. That's the only course that will be played twice by golfers that make the cut. So the Pete Dye Stadium course is the course that means the most, that will correlate most to our model and statistics. And then we have the Nicklaus Tournament course and the La Quinta Country Club. So the 3 separate courses will be played each day. Every golfer's got to play them at least once. And the thing is, it's a variable, right? Because the weather's going to change every day. The layout is going to change every day. So we kind of have to pick and choose the golfers to attack at the right time. So this is going to be completely chaotic, a little more random than normal. And what we'll notice is in tournaments like this is that the top players, they rise to the top, right? The cream of the crop truly does rise in these scenarios. And I think that's why Scottie Scheffler is only a 5.5 to 1 favorite to win it all. Another note is that the winning score here over the last few years has been right around 25 under par, so we're going to be getting into a shootout. So the stats that we're going to correlate, obviously we're going to need birdie or better percentage, we're going to need putting, and we're going to need approach play, and that all kind of correlates to all of 3 of these courses. But there's one thing I want to note, and it's driving accuracy, specifically off the stadium course due to water. I think there's 4 or 5 holes that have water in play directly off the tee, so you can't be going in there, otherwise you're getting a penalty. And in a shootout, you take a penalty and you're done. You're cooked unless you bounce back with an eagle on the next hole, but the odds of that happening are extremely low. So you need to be able to keep your ball in play off the tee and then stick it close and clean up. So that's kind of the model that we're looking for. And as we jump into the field, obviously, I said it earlier, there's 156 golfers and Scottie Scheffler is your betting favorite. That's the obvious part, not the fact there's 156 golfers in the field. Scottie Scheffler coming in at 5.5 to 1, as we talked about earlier. There's just no value there, especially in a shootout style tournament where you need a flat stick. And Scottie, well, he'll have more looks with his excellent iron play, and he'll have more approach opportunities per se. I just don't know if he can convert those putts. Patrick Cantlay, he's solid. Xander Schauffele, solid. The first guy that I will be playing at 20 to 1 is Sungjae Im. So I really like Sungjae Im. He's coming off a T5 at the Century. That shows me that tells me he's still in great form. And through 5 appearances here at the American Express, he's never finished outside the top 20. He's never finished worse than T18. So we're going to take Sungjae Im for a top 20 spot as our best bet at plus 105. You can get that over on PointsBet. I also like him in the DFS spot. I think Sungjae Im is going to be hunting some pins this week. As I said earlier, he's in good form, opened up with a T5 at the Century, now going to a place where he's never finished outside the top 20 at 20 to 1. We'll be allocating some funds on him to win as well. Justin Thomas, after an extremely disappointing season, after I drafted him to my fantasy team last year, he fell flat on his face. I feel like he could have a big bounce back year. Look, he's a ball striker. This is a place where if you stripe it, you're going to be looking good. So Thomas, I'm not going to be betting him this week. I'm still very disappointed, and I just don't like him right now. But I would understand if you were to allocate some funds on Justin Thomas based off of who he is and his capabilities, not based upon what he did last season. Tom Kim at 25 to 1 is another guy I'll be betting this week. I like Tom Kim, consistent play, tee to green play, excellent on approach, and he can knock down some putts when he gets hot. He can win shootouts as well. We've seen that before, so 25 to 1. I love that value for Tom Kim, and I'm also going to be betting him in the top 20 spot as well. I do like Tom Kim to finish in the top 20, especially at the number of plus 130. The next guy I'm going to allocate some funds towards is JT Poston. He has 2 top 6s to start the year. He finished T6 at the Sony last week and a T5 35 at the Century before that. He fits this model perfectly. Over his past 5 starts at the American Express, he's made 4 cuts. He has a pair of top 10 finishes. He's coming off of a pair of top 10 finishes, and I can get him in the best form of his career to place in the top 20 at plus 140. Let's lock that in as well. The last guy that I'm going to talk about, more of a home run shot at 35 to 1, is Eric Cole. I love Eric Cole this weekend. It's a tough tournament to win, right? With the likes of Scotty Scheffler, Xander, Cantley, all those big guns in the field, Justin Thomas, the Sungjae Ims that we talked about. But if there is a guy to come from the back a little more unexpectedly, I would say it's Eric Cole. Now, the reigning Rookie of the Year is off to a great start in 2024. He finished 14th at the Century and 13th at the Sony. He also fits our model perfectly. He ranks first in this field in birdie percentage over the last 24 rounds. He drives it well. He ranks 8th in strokes gained on approach and 10th in strokes gained putting. That's literally exactly what we talked about, what we needed to win this golf tournament. Eric Cole, top 20, plus 150, a best bet right there. And then I'll also be looking for some Eric Cole head-to-head matchups, some 3-ball matchups, and I'll be locking him into my DFS lineup as well, no matter what. Give me some Eric Cole action heading into this weekend. Now that we've crushed our outright bets, our finishing position props, it's time to look at some one and done. And we just talked about Eric Cole, so I don't really need to go into too much detail, but he is going to be my one and done pick here. I want to save the big names like Scotty for tournaments like the Masters, tournaments where, there's more money on the line. And I think Eric Cole is a good fit for this course as we talked about him. He's red hot, reigning Rookie of the Year. Give me Eric Cole in my one and done. Getting into our optimal DFS lineup for this tournament, we have Sungjae Im. We talked about him. We have to lock him into our lineup. He's our most expensive golfer. I like JT Poston. We talked about him. We talked about Eric Cole. One and done threat, an absolute stud for this track, stud for the model. Steven Jaeger is on fire right now, playing some excellent golf. Jaeger, the pin hunter, the German. Give me Steven Jaeger. Sam Ryder provides that steady play, excellent with the flat stick. So I think he might be able to go low, at least lower than people expect. And then our sleeper pick to fill it in is Adam Long. I like Adam Long's well-rounded game, and I think that he can provide some support throughout the tournament, throughout the weekend. So that's going to be our optimal DFS lineup heading into the 2024 American Express. All right, folks, as for your trivia question on this week's edition of Talk Birdie to me to get in to win a pair of PGA tickets to any event that you'd like to see live, excluding a major, obviously, we're going to keep it very simple. Who won the 2023 American Express? We'll give you a clue. After winning, he said that this turns into a putting contest, a very famous quote. Head on over to sportstree.ca right now, answer that question. You're in to win a pair of PGA tickets. Remember to upgrade your subscription to upgrade your chances at winning. Folks, I'm Connor Roundtree. Enjoy the golf. We'll talk birdie to you next time.